Hello, this is a video on the word Shri and Shreya, śrēṣṭha, and in Pali Sri, Seyya and seṭṭha. They're originally from an old Proto-Vedic root meaning to shine. Let me call my notes up for you. So the old root Shri, let me call this up for you. Here we are. Shri, sorry, wrong one. Oh. That's better. Shri in Sanskrit and Vedic equals to shine or to emit light. The verb itself is little used, but this root, this verbal root, gave rise to a much more commonly used noun in Sanskrit, a feminine noun actually, Shri, meaning brightness and then glory, power, majesty, and then the idea of being worthy of reverence and respect. It also has a corresponding adjective, Shri. So there's both a noun, a feminine noun, and an adjective. Writing this in red because we're dealing all with the Vedic and Sanskrit at the moment. And this adjective has the meaning then of glorious, bright, majestic, and then worthy of reverence and honourable, and so on. It also, the noun has the meaning of wealth and prosperity, not just money wealth, but general prosperity, good fortune, both as a noun and equally as an adjective, prosperous and generally blessed. This adjective, Shri, is frequently used as an honorific, in the sense of just pronouncing the name of something, just as in, for example, English, we say not just the Bible, but the Holy Bible. And the Muslims, they wouldn't just talk about Al-Quran, but Al-Quran Al-Karim, the noble Quran. So there are several names of deities and revered works that are just preceded by a Shri. So, for example, you will often see the Hindus talking about Shri, not just Krishna, but Shri Krishna, glorious Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita, for example, you will often see editions produced by Hindus, sorry, there's meant to be R and long I, the Shri Bhagavad Gita. Also used in place names, not so often, but we know very well there was Lanka, and what we now call, of course, Sri Lanka, which is glorious Lanka, blessed Lanka, prosperous Lanka. Not just Lanka, which is the old name of the island of Ceylon, now is Sri Lanka. The Pali equivalent is actually very little used. I don't recall myself that I've come across it in reading Pali. However, the comparative and superlative forms are very frequent, both in Sanskrit and in Pali. The comparative form. In Sanskrit, normally, let me get to red again to show you, talk about Sanskrit. There we are. The comparative form tara, and in Pali indeed we see it's the same. For example, bahu, much or many. Bahutara, same in Sanskrit and Pali, just means more. Bahutara. Bahutara can mean more in quantity or more in number, both. There is an alternative form of the comparative, less used but reasonably common in Sanskrit, which is as. The S being part of the stem here. So from Shri, you get śreyas. So brighter, more glorious. And then simply better. In Pali, this has become seyya, with the doubling of the Y note. Seyya. So this now is not a consonant stem. This in Pali it declines like an ordinary A stem. So the stem seyya, nominative singular seyyo, just meaning better. Now look, I'm going to show you in the Dhammapada. I'll call it across for you. In the Dhammapada, in verse 5.2, charanche nadikachaya seyyam sarisamattano. This seyyam here. So charanche, charan, moving, wandering, going about, and che, if charanche, if while wandering, na adhigachaya, one does not meet or come across, seyyam, the better of oneself. In other words, somebody who is better than oneself. Seyyam attano, one's better. That, of course, is in the accusative, from adhigachati, to meet or come across. So there we have the meaning one's better. Now let us look at the superlative. Just as in English, we make many of our superlatives in est, big, bigger, biggest. By the way, the tara is equivalent to our English and the Sanskrit equivalent of est, as in the superlative, is śreyas. And our est comes directly from that same origin. Now, in Sanskrit, the superlative of Shri followed by with śreyas, it becomes śreshṭha. Śreshṭha. And in Sanskrit, it has the meaning not just of the most glorious, the best, but as a noun, it means the chief, because the best, the most glorious, then as a noun, the chief, chieftain. And in Pali, this becomes seṭṭha. By normal phonetic mutation, śreyṣṭha to seṭṭha. Look now, and we find this word in verse 1 of the Dhammapada. I will call it up for you here. Oops, here we are. Mano Pubbangama. Here we are, reading from line 1, the very first line in the Dhammapada. Mano Pubbangama Dhamma, Mano seṭṭha, Mano maya. So this seṭṭha is used here. This is now a compound adjective, mano seṭṭha, literally mind chieftained. Or was that put down here? Mind chieftain, having mind as their chieftain. This is a possessive adjective, mano mind, seṭṭha, a chief. Now make it a compound adjective, mano seṭṭha, in the plural, mano seṭṭha, to agree with Dhamma. Mano seṭṭha means like mind chieftained, having mind as their chieftain. Now, those of you who are familiar with the Indian community or modern Indian names, you will see, or may be familiar with the surname. Some of them pronounce it Seth, but in fact it is Seṭṭha, because just as by standard phonetic mutation, śreyas becomes seṭṭha in Pali, so equally the Sanskrit śreshṭha becomes seṭṭha in modern Hindi. So there we are. There you have it. Thank you very much.